Morning, guys. We have been given the greatest gift ever. As human beings, we have the power to control the most powerful force in the universe, which is thought. We can control our thoughts, but many of us haven't been trained and haven't conditioned ourselves to believe that. One of the most common things I hear often when we talk about this topic with friends, family, is that it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to control my mind. It's hard to control our thoughts. Let's try to change that conversation because our words are symbols of our thoughts. So let's change it to it's possible. Control of our thoughts is possible. Let's do that even once today. When we feel our thoughts strain towards the negative, let's try to change that one moment and control our thoughts to positive. And let's see what happens day by day as we build on that. Have a great day, everybody.
I think in lot of the times, and this is just, it's totally off the topic, but people come to the conferences with agenda. They have a hidden agenda. They want to get something done. They want to be politically correct. They cannot be themselves. And they are told, never be vulnerable. Imagine what? You do not build the deep relationship with a person unless you can be vulnerable. Unless you can share your emotional connection with a person, you can never build deep connection. People measure their success when they leave the conference, how many business cards they gave and how many business cards they collected. Guess what? If you ever think you have more than 5 people that you met in the conference that you think you have a friendship with, you have friendship with no one. You have to spend time. You have to connect with people. You have to give yourself to them. And you have to let your heart in their hand and say, I trust you. And when you do that, that is the time you build a deep relationship. When you leave this conference, they become your lifelong friends. So make 1, 2, 3, or 4 those lifelong friends when you go to a conference. Find a like-minded person who is going out, going to go make the change, who is going to go out on a journey with you to go out and change the world.
So as an introvert, making connections always seemed incredibly scary to me. I hate going to networking events. I'm not the life of a party. I don't know how to approach people and ask them questions. And it always just felt, I think at the end of the day, very fake and inauthentic and just not me. I don't know how to introduce myself and I don't know what to talk about. I want to sit here and talk. I'm here in Arizona and it's beautiful and it's sunny and it's amazing, but I don't want to just talk about the weather. I don't want to talk about boring, superficial stuff. And it took me a long time to get comfortable coming to events. And this is actually a great moment because I'm here at Genius Network. I just came out of a 2-day event where people are paying $25,000 to be part of, and the next 2 days, it's another event where they're paying $100,000 to be part of, and I'm a guest here speaking at both events. And I would have never, like younger Evan would have never come to something like this because, not that it's not valuable, just I would have been too afraid to network and to ask for help and to introduce myself and all of those things. What I've discovered, if you're an introvert, what I've discovered is that introverts are great listeners and we care. And you can be a fantastic networker if you're an introvert. But your goal is not to know the entire room, and the goal is not to run into the event and say, look at me, here's what I do, and wear the shiniest suit and be the loudmouth. If that's you, awesome, roll with it. But if it's not, your goal is to just connect with a few people on a really meaningful level. I've connected over the past couple of days with some amazing people who've given me some amazing advice and connections and experiences and just amazing people. But it hasn't been, there's lots of people who I haven't connected with. There were maybe 50 people here over the past 2 days, and in the more expensive group, I think there's 30 people or 20 people coming, and I probably won't get to talk to everybody. Probably not, maybe. But I'm not judging myself for not knowing everybody. I'm not judging myself for how many business cards I leave with. Do people still use business cards? I don't have any business cards. I'm not judging myself by if I connected with them or not. It's more, I'd rather spend time with a few people who I can connect with on some kind of level, and that ends up leading to so much better things. Joe Polish is the guy who runs this, so this is his office, and he's the one puts these events together, and he's known as the most connected man in the world, right? Some of his bios and websites will say, when people talk about him, he's the most connected man in the world. In hanging around him for the past few days, I can understand why. So if we're going to reverse engineer Joe Polish's success, and he'll say that he's, on the introverted side. He's invited me to his home. I came in a couple days early and helped him with his team and his channel, and he invited me to stay at his home. Today's our day off in between the two events, and he's invited me to go work out with him and go do some IVs with vitamins in it and go sit in a hot sauna, then jump in an ice cold bath, and asking me how I'm doing and what I'm up to, and if I need anything, or if I want to use his office. I mean, I'm using his office, I guess, the outside to film today. It's too beautiful today not to film outside, but whatever I need. He doesn't just do that for anybody. He's not just going to open up his home for anybody. And he's really trying to spend time. I think about me if I would do that. And I'm thinking, man, probably not. And so that's maybe a learning for me, because I've run events, I've hosted my own events, and they usually just knock me out. When I've hosted my Thought Leadership Academy in Toronto, it would knock me out. I mean, the last day of my event, I remember I passed out. Like, I had a break of 15 minutes, and I passed out and fell asleep on a floor, like on my dance floor, because I was giving so much, and then my body gave out on me. And so I couldn't imagine then also, like, Joe's got such a crazy week. Think about how much people are paying him, right? They pay him $25,000 for the event that just finished, and then $100,000 for the event that's coming up. You got to deliver some value, right? People are coming and they're paying $100,000 to be here. That's got to be, at least for me, incredibly stressful to do that. And while he's in the middle of all of that, he's worried about me and how I'm doing, and if I want to stay with him, and if I want to go do some vitamin IVs, and if I'm being looked after, if I need an internet connection or a place to work. And the amount of texts that he sent while he's in the sauna or working out or doing his meetings, I was like, how are you still thinking about me? You've got so much going on. I mean, it's something that I'm honestly inspired by and I find aspirational. But he does it so well, and it's like he can't do that for everybody. And so, I'm grateful, I guess, that he saw something in me that he'd want to spend that kind of time with. But he's very selective over who he brings in, and then once you're in, he's going to be the greatest resource of all time. And I think that's how you win, ultimately. At least for me, I think it's a fantastic model for me to learn from and keep trying to do better at. And that, how can you win as an introvert when you are networking and trying to help people? Introverts are great listeners. Introverts care. We want to help. We want to serve. And we can't do it for everybody because we let too many people in. Then we have no energy for ourselves. And recognize that that's how that's your secret superpower. That's your superpower. Your superpower, my superpower, is to find just a few people at every place you go to. Your goal is not to meet the whole event. It's meet a few people and figure out how you can help them and genuinely help them, like genuinely serve them, not just, if I help them do this and they're going to help me do that, right? Don't approach it as a transaction. I think introverts are great at this, right? It's not a transaction. We value relationships, but are too afraid to go up and say hi to people and don't like the fluffy talk. So just make it a goal to find a few people and be of service, and great things happen. One of the things I've taken away and just reinforced from the past couple of days is great things happen to me. And I'm actually becoming less of a goal person. Like, where do you want to be next year? I have no idea, because great things happen to me. Because if you keep pouring into other people and keep bringing value and keep helping, great things will happen to you that you never thought of. that you never thought would exist, and yet here they are now showing up in your life. And so a challenge for you would be to think about whether it's the next event you're going to, or even just some people in your network. Like, who do you already know? Who are good people? Be in the business of collecting good people. Like, who do you already know who's a good person, who you want to serve and help on a deeper level, and just find a way to reach out and help them. Be of service. I make a list of the top kind of 100 people that I want to stay in touch with, because I'll forget to stay in touch. I'm too present-minded focused. But if I haven't stayed in touch with them in the past 90 days, I'll find some way to help, whether it's sharing something on social, whether it's making a video, giving them some YouTube advice, just connecting, asking how it can be a resource. I schedule in the ongoing connection because these people have helped me a lot, and I want to continue to help them. And if you're just going strategy, continue to help successful people will lead to you having more success, because they will find ways to come back and help you. You're almost guilting them to do it. Even better is to not even be as strategic about it. Just by putting out good energy, just by serving others, just by using that good karma, it comes. And in the process of giving, if you can remind yourself that great things happen to you, that if I just keep showing up and serving and helping and doing my very best every day, great things will happen to me. Great things will happen to you. Great things will happen to you. You just have to keep going.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. If you want to see my one-on-one with Naveen, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Self-belief comes from self-love, right? The minute you fall in love with yourself is the day the world will fall in love.
Good morning, guys. Today, Oprah Winfrey shares with us her first rule and top 10 rules for success for her, and that is understand the next move. This is one where we can work on it each and every moment, because our moves are affected by our decisions, and our decisions are affected by our thoughts. So what she reminds us of is the fact that all we got to know is what to do next. So if something happens, let's say we make a mistake, what is our next move? You see, in a mistake is an amazing opportunity for growth. It could be an apology. It could be the next right move is an apology. And then we've now transformed that situation, and we've built some trust perhaps in a relationship. So understand the next right move and just do that every single time. And then we'll start to see that change in our life. I hope this helps everyone. Have a great day.
The secret sauce of Amazon, where there are several principles at Amazon, but the number one thing that has made us successful by far is obsessive, compulsive focus on the customer, as opposed to obsession over the competitor. And I talk so often to other CEOs and some other CEOs, and also founders and entrepreneurs, and I can tell that even though they're talking about customers, they're really focusing on competitors. And it is a huge advantage to any company if you can stay focused on your customer instead of your competitor. So then you have to identify who is your customer. So at the Washington Post, for example, is the customer the people who buy advertisements from us? No, the customer is the reader. Full stop. The customer is the reader. And then, by the way, where do advertisers want to be? Advertisers want to be where there are readers. So it's really not that complicated. You know, it comes around really well. And in the school, who are the customers? Is it the parents? Is it the teachers? No. It is the child. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to be obsessively, compulsively focused on the child. We're going to be scientific when we can be, and we're going to use heart and intuition when we need to.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know you've got something more inside you. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn how you can guarantee success for your life. Enjoy. Rule number 2, invest in yourself first with Warren Buffett.
By far the best investment you can make is in yourself. I mean, for example, communication skills. I tell the students that come that they're going to graduate schools and business, and they're learning all these complicated formulas and all that. If they just learn to communicate better, and both in writing and in person, they increase their value at least 50%. And, I mean, if you can't communicate, somebody says, you know, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens, you know, basically. And you have to be able to get forth your ideas, and that's relatively easy. I did it myself with the Dale Carnegie course. Some people wish I'd taken a shorter course now in terms of my talking later on, but it's just hugely important. And if you invest in yourself, nobody can take it away from you.
Rule number 3, get attention with Grant Cardone.
You better get excited now, because if you're not going to get excited now, nobody will give you this money. Nobody will give you this money. Money follows attention. How much attention can I get in the marketplace is where money goes. Money does not go to the best product, ever. Money does not go to the best product. Money does not go to the happiest place either. Money goes to where attention goes. Whoever gets the most attention gets the most money. Action, massive action, has always worked. It's proven itself for thousands of years. This is not a new concept. You show me somebody, and we know their name, anybody in the room, any famous person that you can think of. Anybody that we would both know. You say, I'm going to mention their name, and Grant will know who that is. Give me a name of one person. Tiger Woods. Massive action. Persistent massive action. Okay? Okay, how many people were watching the Open yesterday? Yeah, exactly. Why? Because Tiger was in it. Attention. Money follows attention. Money follows attention. How much attention can you get? Even bad attention. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. What Tiger went through in the last decade helped him. You got more white people pulling for Tiger Woods, right? They're like, Tiger, grown white men, Tiger. And we say there's division in this country. Tiger, I love Tiger, right? Why? Because they love a comeback, man. The guy got a lot of attention. Okay, who else? Give me another name. Oh my God, I didn't know it was going to be this kind of meeting. If I didn't know it was going to be this kind of meeting, I'd charge you double. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Everybody knows him, okay? Money follows attention. Success and power follow attention. Okay, you can not like the guy, but could you handle that much heat every day? Could you handle that many people not liking you every day? Because if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to be a real leader, okay, if you're going to be at the top of the food chain kind of leader, people aren't going to like you.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 4, focus on positivity with Peter Diamandis.
In that same year, I was the closing speaker for President Clinton at CGI. And at the end of his introduction, he said to me, Peter, why are you so positive about the future? Don't you watch the news? And I said, President Clinton, with all due respect, no, I don't watch the news. and I look at the data. And so the reality is that as we humans were evolving on the savannas of Africa hundreds of thousands, millions of years ago, back then, if we missed a piece of negative news, like so rustling of the leaves is the wind and not a lion, you know, the negative news could put you out of your misery. And we developed an ancient piece of our temporal lobe called the amygdala, about the size of your thumb, that scans everything you see and everything you hear for negative news. And if you see it, it puts you on red alert. And it's not something we control. It's something deep wired into our brains. And at the end of the day, the news media uses this, right? The old adage, if it bleeds, it leads, is so true, right? If you ask yourself the question, you know, what's the news media's job? It's to deliver your eyeballs to their advertisers. That's it, pure and simple. And so if we're paying 10 times more attention to negative news than positive news, open up the newspaper tomorrow morning and just count the number of negative stories to positive stories. It's extraordinary. It's 10 to 1. I mean, do the experiment. And it's not that they're, you know, masochistic or that they want to just, you know, have a negative mindset. It's their business. They don't show you all the other amazing news going on in the world every single day. And so I choose not to watch the news. I mean, period. I get back 2 hours a day. It's amazing. My social network will tell me what I need to know. My family will. My friends will. There's nothing I don't miss. I have Google alerts for my companies and the things that I care about. But allowing, you know, the Crisis News Network or Fox or whomever it might be to tell me what they think I should be learning, not what I want to do with my time.
Rule number 5, be prepared to walk alone with Vusi Tembekweo.
I grew up without. I suffered. I was told I'm worthless. Now that I have it, I'm going to show everybody. Because if they affirm to me that I am, then I must be. And it's not until you get to a stage where you realize the affirmation is not necessary that you're truly free. So as you build your business, I'm telling you now that if it's the external affirmation you're looking for, you're going to sickle. You're not going to get it, guys. It's hard, and it's not unless you walk the journey, right? It's when you are in it that you're like, why don't they get it? Yeah? The world they're losing their minds. Have you ever seen something that nobody else sees, but you know it's there because you can see it? You're like, nah, and you explain it, but they don't see it, right? And in that, the only thing that keeps you sane is if the only affirmation you need is you. So it's kind of counterintuitive, right? Quickly, before we start, I got to tell you this. I'll tell you why it's counterintuitive. Anthropologists and human science specialists both have studied prisons. Prisons are a fascinating thing, right? Because when you're a human being, what we do in this thing called a society, be very careful of society, by the way, because society is nothing more than a system of normalized averages. So what it is we all come together and we go, well, for there to be order in any system that can grow exponentially, ergo population growth, we need a system to manage it. And we're going to codify the system, and we're going to call these things good behavior, etiquette, rules, laws. If you break them, we're going to punish you. We have to do it, otherwise there'll be disorder. Like if nobody tells you, sit on the right-hand side of the car and drive on the left-hand side of the road, you're going to sit wherever you want, you're going to drive however you want. And we can't create a society like that. So what society does is it writes these rules, it codifies them, that create the average for the average. The average human being should be like this. That's why your mom says, go to school, get a good education, get a job, get a husband, have 2.5 kids, live in the White House with a picket fence. That's why you're told that, because your mother comes from a society with a system of normalized averages. And then you come up and go, no, maybe not. Maybe I don't want to finish school. Or maybe I do, but I actually don't want to get a job. I actually want to go through 5 years of not knowing where my next meal is going to come from, because I've got a dream. The minute you break away from society's rules, it'll do exactly what they do to you in prison. So check this out. So you break the law, they send you to prison. Why? Because if we can remove you from broader society, we punish you. Yeah? Human beings, by their very nature, need interaction. This is a vital part of being a human being. When you're in prison and you break the rules, what do they do then? They put you in isolation. So just to be clear, to the strongest, toughest, most evil people of society, the single most powerful form of punishing them is separation. It's not physical punishment. I'm going to put you in a hole, alone. That's it. And it will break you. That's why people don't have the courage to walk the path of entrepreneurship. Because the minute you're walking, you're going, holy shit, I'm alone.
Rule number 6, pursue continuous growth with Robin Sharma.
I believe you're happiest not when you're watching TV. You're not happiest when you're playing with your apps. You're not happiest when you're looking for likes. You're not happiest when you're fooling around. You're happiest when you're growing. I think we're hardwired. That it's a survival mechanism. We're happiest when we're making progress. So we have a deep fear of self-betrayal. And when we don't capitalize on our talents, what starts to happen is that we start to lose energy, we lose creativity, and we lose productivity. I believe that many of us, the reason we don't have energy, the reason why we're not as creative as we want, the reason why we're not as productive as we want, is because we have betrayed our talent, and the deep, wise, primal hero within knows of that self-betrayal, and we start to hate ourselves. Is that an interesting point, show of hands? The place of knowing within you knows that you've betrayed your talents, and we start to hate ourselves. And so we have a deep well of self-loathing inside of us that actually minimizes the four interior empires, and the four interior empires are the gateway into the exterior empires of creativity, productivity, performance, prosperity, lifestyle, and impact. How do you get to creativity, productivity, prosperity, performance, lifestyle, and impact? Through the four interior empires: mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set. So that first fear is important. Second fear, fear of standing out. Well, how are you going to innovate if you haven't worked through your fear? This is why personal mastery is the gateway into, it's the gateway drug into world class.
And rule number 7, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is don't work for the money with Robert Kiyosaki.
The irony of it, when I left school in the 60s, there were plenty of jobs, but the world has changed, and our schools haven't. And so they're still making this innate promise of get a job. And I was very fortunate when I graduated in '69. We're the highest paid graduates in the world. My classmates were making about $120,000 to $150,000 a year. Wow. That's not much money today, but 1969, that was a lot of money. But naturally, as young guys do, we spent every penny of it. So I had my rich dad's lesson, the rich don't work for money, in my head. I said, okay, I'm making all this money, I have a secure job, but what's beyond that? And that's where education comes in. So if I could explain this to you for the rest of the millennial lessons, it's really going to be on this theme here, because financial education is about not working for money. Like one of the first questions, when I finally realized what my rich dad was saying, I said, well, when do I never need a paycheck again? See, my goal wasn't, go to the moon or, cure cancer. My job was, when would I never need a paycheck again? Because as long as you need a paycheck, be it from an employer or like my poor dad, he was so afraid of losing his government pension. And I'm going, Jesus, what a way to run your life. Your pension? So my old man kind of got fired. He lost his pension. It was the most frightening thing in the world to him. He had no pension. Then it was Social Security, which is even worse. So that's why my goal when I was about your age, a little older, around 25, I said, my goal is to never need a paycheck again from anybody. Even the government. I don't want any Medicare, Social Security, or whatever. When I was a military pilot, I said, oh, you got to get the military pilot pension. I said, you do, but I'm not going to. And just because of this here, that was the difference. Because I never wanted to work for money to need a paycheck. So the next few lessons in Millennial Money, you'll find out what I do work for. So for right now, just let me go to the lesson here. So this comes from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and these are some of the distinctions. It was the advantage I had at age 9, because I knew what I wanted to work for. And this here, in simple terms, is called a financial statement. In school, they teach you to get a FICO score. FICO is BS. All that means, how good are you paying your bills? That's all FICO means, okay? Should be the FIDO score. Good dog. So this is what your banker wants to see. So when I was 9 years old, playing Monopoly with my rich dad, this is the lesson that's not included in Monopoly, but Rich Dad taught me. And fundamentally, the problem that most people make, they go to school to get a job, and they work here. So this is the poor, middle class, and these guys. And we're going to talk about later, your first line item expense is taxes. You know, just recently, President Trump said he had a tax cut. He didn't have a tax cut for these guys. As you know, the rules are always written for the rich, okay? I didn't make the rules. You can get angry at me, but these are the rules. The rich make the rules. The golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules.
Yeah.
So the tax cut went to people here. That's where it goes to. You'll learn more about this later on. But this is what I work for. So what I work for, number one, is I'm an entrepreneur. I want businesses. I have multiple businesses. And I don't work in them, as you know, because you work here. You never see me, do you?
No.
Because I don't work for a paycheck.
Exactly.
Next is real estate. And real estate is good for many things which we'll go into, but number one is debt. I use a lot of debt to buy real estate, and I pay no taxes. That's the relationship there. The next is paper. And that's savings, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and that stuff. I don't have any of that stuff. I don't save money. I don't have any of that. But this is what most people have, go to school, get a job, get a 401k, and save money. Loser. Okay. I'm doing that just to upset you guys, because maybe you'll start to think. Because I didn't make the rules. I'm just telling you these are the rules. These people pay the highest taxes, and they work the hardest. And the last are commodities, 4 different asset classes. So commodities are, number one is gold, silver, oil, land, water, food. So this is what I work for. When I left school, rather than working for a paycheck and working for money, my education had to go beyond getting a job, which I had a good job. But I now had to start, when I left school, about your age, the thing I focused on first actually was commodities. So back in 1972, I started buying gold. And it was illegal for Americans to own gold. You can imagine that. Wow. Back in 72. Today you have Bitcoin. It's different, okay? Everything is changing so rapidly today. So I started with gold, but actually the next thing was actually oil, because I went to school to be a tanker officer driving ships for Standard Oil. So I understand oil. So my wife and I don't own Standard Oil or Chevron or Exxon. We own oil wells. Again, taxes. You get no tax breaks for owning paper oil, huge tax breaks for owning real oil. Yeah. And then I went into real estate. Why? Because I can use debt to buy real estate. And because I use debt, I pay no taxes. And then third, I started my business, my first real business. I had many businesses as a kid, but my first real business was a nylon and Velcro surfer wallet business. And I went worldwide right away. The trouble is I was an idiot, and the business went up, and the business came down. What kept me alive was this and this. Okay. So you may say, well, aren't you working for money? But we'll go into that next. I don't want what's called paycheck. I want cash flow. From here. So that's what I mean by the rich don't work for money. You want cash flow that pays very little taxes, and I can use lots of debt over here. The average person who went to school, their biggest liability they have is student loans, of course.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
I mean, it's horrible what they do to you guys today. You have student loan, which is the worst type of debt of all because you cannot declare bankruptcy on it. And then you get out and you try and buy a house, and you call it an asset when it's really a liability. Why? Because the cash is flowing that way. Your house costs you money. You rent a house, still costs you money. Okay? Then you have to have a nice car. I had one of those. This. So the problem with most young people is they go to school to get that job, then a lot of them have student loan debt, then they try and get married and buy a house, have a car, and then they have credit card debt, but they never have the chance to come over here. If they do any investing in America, it's a 401k, which I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Now, you should, but I don't, because I don't have to. Because I went to school for here, and people who don't go to school should be here. This is a 401k, IRA, ETFs, and that stuff, paper, savings. I don't touch that stuff, and we'll go into that later on, okay? So when I say rich don't work for money, I never wanted to be dependent on a paycheck, either from an employer or the government. I wanted to be a free human being.
Good morning, everybody. I want to share with you a personal story again to show how we can live and laugh and love our way to infinite mind wealth. I want to share a story of my students. I had a young student yesterday, 4 or 5 years old, come up to me and say, no matter what, Mr. Francis, I control my mind and I never give up on controlling my mind. I had a young 4 or 5 year old say this, not in those exact words, but I thought, wow, that's incredible. So when we start to think of ourselves, wherever we are, whatever we're going through, young children can learn that it's possible to control their thoughts. And therefore we all can. It's just we have to work at that every single day. But I wanted to share that with you because I thought, wow, that's truly living our way to infinite mind wealth. Step by step, one person at a time, one child at a time, and it's possible. So I hope that helps. Remember that, everyone. Have a great day.
How many people in their lifetimes do a job that they love doing? Maybe I have ADD, but I want to be able to do everything. Why can't we do everything? People have to like you or relate to you for who you are. You can't be someone else, suddenly.
Hello, Believe Nation. I'm Evan Carmichael. My one word is believe, and I believe that entrepreneurs are going to solve all of the major problems of the world. So to help you on your journey, today we're going to learn from one of India's highest paid and most popular actresses, Priyanka Chopra, and my take on her top 10 rules for success, Volume 2. Rule number 2 is my personal favorite, and I'd love to know which one you guys like the best. And as always, guys, as you're watching, if you hear something that really resonates with you, please leave it down in the comments below, put quotes around it so other people can be inspired, and when you write it down, it's much more likely to stick for yourself as well. Enjoy.
But see, what is the choice? That you walk a path like everyone else, dressed in suits, go to work, and come back and never have a legacy? Or you swim upstream like a trout against norm. And then whatever little you achieve is only yours. It's not like everyone else. And I'd rather have something that is my path, paved by me, something that is my legacy, my own self, my own achievement, than being one of the many successful people in the world. I just love what I do, and I'm good at it. And I love the ability to wake up in the morning and say, oh my God, I get to go to work. How many people in their lifetimes do a job that they love doing? Most people do it for survival. Kicha, we need to feed our families, we need to survive, it's our career, okay, we have to do it. But to wake up with, my feet and my fingers tingling and say, wow, I have this to do, I have that to do today. And it's an amazing feeling, and I don't take it for granted. I'm a storyteller, and I'm not someone who restricts myself to one thing, ever. I've never been that person. Maybe I have ADD, but I want to be able to do everything. Why can't we do everything? Sure. And especially women, we're great at multitasking. So I want to produce, I want to have a business, I'm producing here, I'm going to produce in India, Hindi films, regional films. I want to be able to act in them, maybe not. There's so many things that I can do, which I want to be able to explore. I'm a little, I don't know how to say this. People call it arrogance, I call it self-assurance, but I am who I am. You like it, great. You don't like it, I don't care. That's who I've always been. So whether I'm coming to America, whether I go to India, I'm always true to just who I am. If you try and change yourself according to thinking that, oh, I'm going to a different country, or, I need to please, or I need to not be alien enough, or you're overthinking it. People have to like you or relate to you for who you are. You can't be someone else suddenly. So I've stayed very true to who I am, whether it's in India or here. I mean, as much as I can, of course. You have to be open to understand and accept the fact that you won't know everything. Right. And people won't know everything about you. So it's an education. I'm enjoying so much educating my cast, my crew, and the people that I meet about India and achar and biryani and Diwali, and I'm as desi as it gets, and they have so much fun getting to know India through me, and me the same way. So you have to accept your uniqueness. When my publicist, I remember, emailed me, she said, you're going to be in the list, you're being considered because their voting and stuff was going on, in the 100 most influential people. I was like, wow, I'm being considered. That in itself was the achievement for me. That I'm in consideration with this lot of people. Then to be a part of the list. Then to be on the cover of the magazine, not just in Asia, but in the US as well. I mean, and then to have my Padma Shri within 10 days.
Yeah, that's right. Padma Shri Priyanka Chopra.
Yeah, that 1 week was like a real big pinch me moment.
But tell me, there's all this stuff, right? There is, of course, the sweat. I mean, you talked about your days, about, flying here for a weekend. But what is the sacrifice you make to achieve this?
Sacrifice your life.
Really?
Yeah, your life is your work. Completely. I get to meet my friends in Bombay only for the 20 days that I might come here now, for this year at least. My family, yes, I can fly them down. To be in a completely new country, get to know new people, reintroduce yourself and see if these are friends for life or not. It's not just the fact that that's all I do, but it's such a solitary thing to do. I'm willing to sacrifice my sleep, I'm willing to sacrifice food, I'm willing to sacrifice quality of life, if that's what you want to call it, and to be able to be an achiever. Because to be an achiever, you have to let go of some things. I make it a point that I fly my family wherever I am, I fly my friends wherever I am, I fly my cook wherever I am, because I need my Hindi, I need my dal chawal at night, it's very important.
Wow.
So my cook to is सबसे important बंदी है जो मेरे साथ जाती है. But besides that, I think, when you want global domination, you have to pay for price for it. I like pushing the envelope, I like pushing myself. Actually, it's a very selfish thing. I'm very late. I have a very short attention span. I get bored with, if I have to do the same thing or if something doesn't challenge me. I'm in a profession where I can push myself so much, and I live with the adrenaline of working best under pressure somehow.
Right.
And I'm very fortunate that I get roles that are written for me, which give me the ability to do that.
Right.
So why not? Yeah.
Do you have any advice that you can give entrepreneurs or people who are trying to break out of their comfort zone?
Well, it is scary. I will always say that, especially business, because it's a very scary place to be in. It changes, it goes ups and it has so many ups and downs. But a very, very dear friend of mine and a mentor, Jimmy Iovine, who created Beats by Dre, he works for now Apple Music. He told me this one piece of advice, which I tied a knot and I kept. He said, to be successful, you have to be able to walk away from a deal. You have to. If you want it bad enough, then people are going to give it to you at patents, But you have to be able to walk away from a deal. That's when you become stronger and you have more confidence in yourself. So that's how I've started living my life. And I guess that's the advice I would give all young entrepreneurs.
Do you think about the next act? Do you think about, I know it's also too early to ask, but do you think about where you will be 5 years later?
I mean, hopefully I will still be working. What, where, how, I've never known. I'm not someone who plans my career. I'm very instinctive. If I like something, I do it. Hence the reason I fail a lot also. Because, I take risks, I take chances. I don't like, it's very easy to have a safe career.
Sure.
But I want to be able to have a path which is mine. Yeah, I screwed up sometimes, but it's mine. No one else did it before me. It's completely, empty territory till I get there. It's my footprints. So I take a lot of pride in that. So I don't know where it'll be, but it'll be different, I can assure you. It'll be something that it'll be a precedent.
Right.
I like setting
You'll
precedents.
be breaking new ground.
Yeah, I want to do things that people are like, oh, she's doing that now.
Right.
I look for things like that, whether it's acting, producing. I don't know what it'll be.
Sure.
I don't know. I was very fascinated with show business when I joined the movies, and I found so many sad stories of people who, after they've become superstars or they realize that they are superstars, the downfall. It's going to happen to everyone. Everyone. I knew that before I started my first film. So I'm not afraid of it. I just know that I'll have a plan B when that happens. Creativity can be morphed into so many things. Today I write, I sing, I write columns. I've written for Elle, New York Times, Hindustan Times. I act in movies. I'm producing films. There is a gazillion things you can do as a creative person. So I'm prepared for that. So yeah, but I do believe you can't ever sit down on your hands and say, all right, now I'm a star.
But you wanted to challenge me to a wing eating contest.
I am...
This is insane. No one challenges me on my show. I'm the good luck charm. You want to do this?
I think we should. You know what, guys? We're in New York.
Let's do it! Come on, let's go! Oh, look at this. Here we go. All right. All right. All right, these already look hot. Yeah, so these are,
really do.
In front of us are from Atomic Wings here in New York. They're made with their nuclear hot sauce.
And I have Tabasco just in case that's not enough. And I have milk just in case it's too much. So we pick
I'm not going to need the milk.
I might.
Yeah. Whoever eats the most wings within 20 seconds wins.
Damn.
Yeah. Let's get
Oh, really? Okay.
20 seconds on the clock.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Ready? On your mark, get set, go! I can't do more than one. I can't do it. I can't do more than one. I can't do more than one. Come on. I couldn't even do one. I got a big chunky one. My first wing was a big wing.
Excuse me.
Oh, excuse us, really? Who doesn't love this person right here? Priyanka Chopra.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to get your pick of who I should profile next in the top 10s, check out the link in the description and go and cast your vote. I also want to give a quick shout out to Russell Duvall. Russell, thank you so much for picking up a copy of my book, Your One Word. I really appreciate the support, man, and I hope you're enjoying the read. So thank you guys again for watching. I believe in you. I hope you continue to believe in yourself and whatever your one word is. Much love. I'll see you soon.
Success is not success is not a destination. People always think that, oh my God, they're successful because they've had a successful movie or a successful show. But success is a journey. You have to consistently always be successful. That's when you're really successful, because otherwise you'll be remembered for your last failure. And I've had a few, but I just have to compensate for my failure by just getting up and running. The more time you take to sort of mourn it, you're wasting that much more time in being successful. So you just have to, perk up, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and just say, all right, what can I do? There's always a solution. You can't expect, people always get mistaken that just because this year has been what it has been, it's been because I consistently worked hard for about 10 years. So now I know my job enough to be able to be appreciated for it. But if I hadn't had the last 10 years, I would never have had this year or the year before that. So success is not a destination or power is not like, okay, today you're powerful. You have to consistently be powerful and consistently be successful. And that is a journey. It'll never be a step.
I'm really confused. Where is the switch on, switch off button, Priyanka, when you come from America to do a Kashi Bayan so convincingly?
Yeah, that whole last scene where he calls me Mastani, I came down for a weekend to shoot it. I shot it over Saturday, Sunday, and it was a hectic trip. But I think that's my job. My process is very different. I don't conventionally, nobody taught me what acting was about. My acting school has been my career. My gurus have been my filmmakers and my co-actors. So I think I learned my own process, which is I create a personality. I don't work, I'm not someone who needs to stay in the mood, or I don't ghusao into a character. I create the person. I create Kashi. I think about what she likes, how she'd behave, what her choices are, what her favorite food is. You can ask me anything about a character and I know them. They become like my best friends or my sisters. And after that, I don't need to stay in the mood because I know them so well. You can throw any scene at me and I'll be able to do it. So my process is very different, because of which I can switch on and off really well. I was different. I still am different. I'm in a country which is very far away from home, very far away from familiarity. And I think that's what my strengths are. When I was young, I didn't understand that. When I was a kid in school, when I was being bullied, when I didn't understand who I was turning into. But what makes you different if you identify that and you realize that, all right, this is what's different about me. If you think about it, that's exactly what makes you special. That's exactly what makes you unique. And you need to just, and I did that over time, be the best version of yourself. Because the more different you are, the more special you are.